now that we know all about the lecture content, we want to test ourselves in our online homeworks. So we're going to use CHEM 101 as our online homework platform. Depending on when if you took 1411 or Gen Chem 1 at Lee, depending on when you took it, you may have used this or Sapling, CHEM 101. Same idea. It's just all about it's just an online homework system. The thing that is unique about CHEM 101 is that it's very uniquely tied to Blackboard, so you have to access it through Blackboard. You can download an app as well. It's very much a web app experience instead of a website experience. So you can download an app on at least iPad, iPhone. I'm guessing they have an Android one as well. And you can work through homework that way. You tie it, link it into your Blackboard account and all that sort of stuff. You do have to get an activation code from the bookstore. Unfortunately, you do have to go in person. They are open at 1 and 3 p.m. So if you want to go before 1 for lecture on Wednesdays or after lecture or lab, sorry, on Wednesdays, they should be available. You can get a 2-week trial if you can't get the bookstore. Now that 2 weeks is not from when you sign up, it's from when the class starts. So you would be able to do the first 2 weeks worth of homework on a free trial before you have to get an access code from the bookstore. When you get that access code, last semester was handwritten. I have talked to them and tried to get them to stop writing them by hand. We'll see if that works. If you get a handwritten code, be careful with the letters. It's not necessarily the best handwriting. If your code doesn't work, is it potentially a 2 or is it a Z? Is it a 5 or is it an S? There's a J or a 7. Some of them are kind of fancy cursive things. They can look a little confusing. I would highly recommend when you get your code from the bookstore, you try to activate your Chem 101 there. You try to activate it in front of the people at the bookstore, the bookstore employees, to make sure that it works. Because if you take it home, it may not work, and that can cause some issues. So I would encourage you activate it in person at the bookstore. Bring a computer or your phone, whatever, and activate it at that time. Try to see if it works. So once you get in, we'll have 2 homework assignments each week. One is the midweek, due Wednesday. One is the weekly, due Saturday. The midweek is meant to be short. It will only cover the first set of videos. The idea is just, I want you to be engaged. I want you to be thinking about the material. It's the most important things. These are not intended to be difficult. It is intended instead to provide kind of, keeping with it. In terms of the best way to get points in this class is to do those midweek homeworks. It's 2 to 5 problems. It's worth 5 points. Each weekly homework is worth 10. There's more than 10 questions on there. So you're getting good bang for your buck. I want you to be kind of sticking with the material. The weeklies will be longer. 12 is probably an undercut. Some of them will be short we'll have some harder weeks. But for the most part, they'll probably be more like 20 problems. They're not intended to be, they're intended to cover the whole thing. With Chem 101, each problem is not necessarily super hard. The system does provide, I really like Chem 101, some things about Chem 101, that it links directly to OpenStax. It'll link you to where in the book is covered, the online book, if you want some additional resources. It also does provide feedback for wrong answers. And importantly, your score is not penalized for incorrect responses. That's one of the things I really like about homework. You have to get the right answer, but you don't have to get it right the first time. You get full credit even if you don't get the right answer the first time. I want you to be looking at that feedback, thinking about it. Again, it's that engagement, that going through the feedback loop, trying things multiple times is what I want, is how I think you're going to learn. There is a midweek 1 homework due Wednesday, so you do want to get logged into the system relatively soon to kind of take a look at that and to make sure that you have it set up and that you can complete that assignment. So let's go into Blackboard, see how we access Chem 101 and what it kind of looks like once we're in there. So again, you do need to access Chem 101 through Blackboard. So you'll note there's a link over here on the sidebar, Chem 101. If you click that, first I want to point out there's some resources, some technical support if you have issues. You're going to need to draw Lewis structures and Chem 101. It's a clever way that it works. I think it actually works pretty well. It's really unique and creative, I think. It's a little not intuitive, initially, but once you kind of get used to it, I think it works well. And then here's a document that I've made for kind of just for, I wrote this of how to access it if you ever get lost. But you can also then, you want to click this link. It'll take you here. I don't want to launch because it'll mess me up, but you'll click launch and it'll take you into CHEM 101. I've already opened a CHEM 101 because otherwise if I click that way, it'll take me in as an instructor. So you'll see the back end. This is what it would look like when you log into CHEM 101. So you'll note it says there's no activities. For whatever reason, it defaults to class. That's like in-class activities. Obviously, we don't do those. So you want to go to homework, and that's where you'll see the homeworks. And so you'll see midweek 1, it's only 3 problems. Week 1 is 18 problems. It is a bit longer. So if you click into this midweek 1, it'll tell you your problems that are completed, your problems that are correct, points earned, basically 0 to 3 would get you the 5. But this is basically just telling you these two for how I have the homework set up. Basically, all 3 of these numbers will be exactly the same. So if you click in here, which one of the following phase changes would be exothermic? Let me think about this real quick. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and answer boiling. And then when you want to answer it, you click submit. You'll note this plus sign. It basically just gives you references. So you can either click to OpenStax. It'll take you to OpenStax, to the relevant information in OpenStax. You can see it's taking you to the section. This question was about phase changes. And hey, it's a phase transition. And so you're in there. So you can do that. And you can also then, if you want to see the periodic table, it'll take you to the OpenStax periodic table. Good reference point. So, but if you submit an answer, you can see it's incorrect. You do technically only have 99 attempts. I think there'll be a lot. I don't think you ever hit that. If you do hit that, let me know. I want you to have unlimited attempts. I just can't do unlimited, so I just did 100. Seems like enough. But it gives you some feedback. In an exothermic phase change, heat needs to be removed. So it's telling you it's wrong. And here's some feedback, so you can retry it, and you could do something else. And so submit. Still wrong. You still got 98 attempts. So you can retry as many times as you want, and that's generally what I want to be able to do. I want to give that to you, have those multiple attempts, and it'll tell you you've tried this. This red means you've tried it, but you don't have it correctly. Yellow means you haven't even tried it. So you can go through these, get these all to green. You could do the midweek 1 homework, work through these. Not everything is up yet. They will be getting ahead. I will get them up, the homeworks. There'll be 2 a week from here on out. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. You do have the first 2 weeks you can work through on a trial one, but you do eventually need to get that activation code from the bookstore. It's free, it should be free, but you do need to get it from them in person. And it is, just be mindful, write it, take a photo of the Post-it they give you with it on there. Hopefully it's a little fancier this semester, but worst case scenario, it's only a Post-it. Take a photo when you get it. Try to use it right away. Send a photo to me. I'm pretty good at interpreting their handwriting at this point in time, but you can get that in. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. You do have homework due this Wednesday. That's the 12th. So you do have a homework due on this Wednesday. It's short. You saw it's only 3 questions. I saw one of them. You know what 2 answers are not right. And so let me know. You want to get started on that. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, that is going to do it for Chem 101. Working our way through, getting through a lot of course content. Over halfway done with these course info videos. Kind of wrap up some more. See you there.